Welcome back everyone. With training camp quickly approaching, the Lakers went out and signed 4 new players to their training camp roster, a few of which have already spent time with their team. And with them being able to carry a total of 20 players until the end of training camp, they really had no reason not to. I mean, it took them longer than I thought it would, but they obviously had their eye on these 4 for quite a while now. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm referring to Bryce Hamilton, Damian Bow, Valerio Badon, and then former two-way contract Scotty Pippen Jr., 3 of which have already been part of their team in some capacity. I think we all know about Scotty Pippen Jr., but you might not be too familiar with the other 3, and especially if you're not able to watch their summer league team. So we're going to review them in today's video, and then talk about the odds of them hanging around beyond training camp. But real quick before we get into it, I would genuinely appreciate it if you could take a brief moment to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But without wasting any more time here, let's dive right into it. And like I referred to before, they can have up to 20 total players on their training camp roster, and that doesn't even include their two-way contracts. And with that in mind, they actually have room for 2 more players if they want to. And if you kept up with their summer league team, then I imagine that you might be rooting for LJ Figueroa to get a contract. And when I say contract, the type I'm referring to here is not a standard contract or even a non-guaranteed contract either. All 4 of them were signed to Exhibit-10 contracts, or in other words, training camp deals. What that type of contract does is pretty much add a players to a training camp roster, but then also give the team that player's G League rights, therefore allowing them to keep them around if they don't make the actual team. And although it's not very common, we have watched it before with a guy like Alex Caruso. He went from a training camp guy to signing a two-way contract with them to eventually being elevated to their 15-man roster. And who knows, maybe that could happen again with one of these 4. Now, is it likely? Not really, but it's never a bad thing to have talent on your G League team too. And with that being said, we'll begin by reviewing Bryce Hamilton, who is now returning for his second stint with their team. He spent the entirety of last season with the South Bay Lakers, and he quietly had a very good year with them too. Despite being a 4-year college guy, he entered the league being only 21 years old, and for a guy that young who is not given a big priority on their team, he really put together a good year, averaging over 14 points, shooting 51.4% from the field, and then over 38% from 3. And to absolutely no surprise at all, that led to him getting one of the first invites to join their summer league team, which he quickly accepted. Now, he unfortunately did not get much playing time with the Lakers, picking up 3 different backcourt players on draft day, but he continued to be efficient in his limited minutes, shooting 48% from the field and then 50% from beyond the arc. Although the only real shot he has to making their team would actually be if a two-way contract like Demoy Hodge would get elevated, which would then open up an available two-way contract for them. And in my opinion, that is what Bryce Hamilton, along with pretty much every one of these 4, should be hoping for. That would be much more realistic compared to outright making their 15-man roster. But now moving on to Damian Bow. And although he did not play for their G League team as he was in college last year, he did play for their summer league team. Now, he unfortunately shot very poorly all over the court, but he did play good defense, which was definitely his calling card coming out of college, and it likely helped him stick around with their team. However, he will need to show improved shooting ability if he ever hopes to crack an NBA team. He shot only 29.5% from 3 during college, and then only 14.3% during summer league. Even with him being a good point of attack defender, he won't stick around for very long if he can't knock down the open 3. And that's what I'll be looking for him to do throughout his time with their G League team. At this point, I imagine they're likely not bringing back Shaquille Harrison, who is now about 30 years old, and that is why they brought in a new point of attack defender with Damian Bow. And who knows, maybe he'll eventually catch the attention of an NBA team. But now moving on to Valerio Badon, a completely new addition to any level of their team, and a very intriguing one at that. After going undrafted in the 2023 NBA draft, he quickly latched on to the Celtics Summer League team, though they surprisingly let him go afterwards. He only played in 1 game for them due to a mix of injury and them simply not playing him, but even in that 1 game alone he looked pretty darn good, putting up 13 points, grabbing 6 rebounds, and then shooting 4 of 8 from the field and then 1 of 2 from 3. And although we have only 1 summer league game to look at here, Valerio Badon has been playing professionally for over 4 years now. Despite only being 22, he's been a professional player in the Hungarian Professional League that entire time now. And during his final year of international play, he looked really good out there. I mean, the guy had nearly a 50-40-90 season at only 21 years old. And we're not talking about a point guard here, we're talking about a 6'10" combo forward. He might not be a big burly power forward down low, but he's got a very nice shooting touch. He shot over 41% from 3 during his final year of international play to go along with over 8 points per game, garnering the attention of NBA teams while doing it. And in my opinion, there is a lot to like about his potential. He kind of reminds me of Nikola Mirotic, and even a little bit of Kyle Kuzma, mostly in regard to their unique skill set at their individual heights. And it's really hard not to like a 6'10" guy who can shoot the 3, create for himself off the dribble, and potentially even be a plus defender as well, all of which Valerio Badon could eventually become. And like I referred to before, if a guy like Demoy Hodge or Colin Castleton would get elevated to their 15-man roster, then I think one of their training camp guys could get their two-way contract, and I would call Valerio Badon the current favorite. But now finishing up with former two-way contract Scotty Pippen Jr. You might not have known it, but he was a member of their summer league team. He was simply not able to play due to an ankle injury. But now it appears that he's healthy and ready to play again, and he obviously wants to stick around with their team. Now, he is no longer under a two-way contract with them, but he did make a very good impression for their G League team. In 19 total games for them, he put up over 21 points, over 5 assists, and shot about 47% from the field. Pretty good numbers for a rookie, though he definitely does have a few areas of improvement, one of which being 3-point shooting. I mean, he was never a great shooter throughout college, and that carried over into his first year as a pro, shooting only 30% from 3 while attempting nearly 5 of them per game in the G League. And if he ever hopes to become an NBA caliber combo guard, he will need to become a better 3-point shooter. You simply can't get around that in today's NBA, and especially with him not being a lockdown defender. Now, he's definitely not a bad defender, and he can even be a pesky point of attack guy at times, but he's certainly not a lockdown kind of defender, and I imagine that he would even get targeted during the fourth quarter in NBA games. However, I really do think there is potential here with Pippen Jr. He's not being kept around simply due to his name alone. He legitimately has NBA potential. Now, I think it will be difficult for him to overcome his size and lack of 3-point shooting ability, but he does have some time to prove people wrong yet. He's still only 22 years old after all, and I think he'll get another 2 years at the very least. I would not completely rule him out getting a two-way contract again either. Like I talked about with Hamilton and Valerio Badon, he could very well be a candidate if any of their current two-way players get elevated. But with all of that being said though, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Lakers training camp additions? And do you see any of them making the team in any capacity at all? Comment your thoughts down below. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.